Good day, good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Positive Rate. I'm your host, Willy Canuck. I'm not feeling well today, folks. So you're gonna be able to laugh at me today. I'm sick. I can't put the green screen up. I don't know if I'm feeling hot or cold. It's man flu. It's not COVID. I know that. But it's rough. I'm rough. But and I gotta fly an airliner, so it's gonna be super interesting. But it's okay, I've got help with me today on Vox. I got Shark Kitty. Shark Kitty, good evening, how are you?
Good evening, I'm doing fine.
Oh, I'm glad someone's doing fine, because I feel like crawling into a dark corner and just curling up under a blanket, but never mind. What are you gonna do? And also tonight, special guest, Dark Fury. How are you tonight, sir?
Good evening. Yes, we're yourself. I know you've got the man flu.
Yep, I do, definitely. I heard someone coughing in the background too. Was that you?
No.
Oh, okay, I was hoping to have some sympathy sickness, but anyway. So, here's me on the tarmac here. Our beautiful fly-by-wire 320NX livery. Now, I've got huge news. If you have the Fenix, you can get a Positive Rate livery. Is it available yet, Dark?
Yes, it is available. It will be available after the...
Oh, cut out a bit. And Sean says no need to dance tonight. Yeah, so Dark's done a Fenix livery. It will be available in Flightsim TO. We will make an announcement in the Discord community as well. So if you go to the pub, you'll find out. And Dark will put up a post there, and you guys can find out. Anyway, Shark Kitty, she's going to be pacing me today in the Hawk for an hour and a half. Ooh. Amazing. And I know Dark's flying the Fenix today, unfortunately, but I do not have that medal, so I cannot see what it looks like. Great! Big welcome back to Sean Dale and Ollie Burns are joining us on the tarmac today. Guys, so great to have you along tonight. Really, really cool. We missed you. We missed you both. And Sean, of course, treat us to something right at the start, and I'm going to play that right now. Coming in with the £3 donation. And he said, I only do it because I like to see Kermit the Frog waving his arms around. So, Sean, thank you very much for that. Really, really appreciate it. Absolutely brilliant of you. It really does help to pay for some of the subscription services that help us run the stream. Checking in with the chat. So, Ollie says, hello, everyone. Ollie, great to see you. How you doing today? And Tan says, Sean, don't encourage him. Is my dancing that bad? Is it a negative or a positive? That's what I all joking aside, is the dancing something that actually puts you off the stream, or is it something that makes you laugh? If it makes you laugh, that's my job done, and I don't mind doing it. And there will be dancing coming up the end as a thank you for that donation, Sean. But if you guys think it's just bump and Willie, just don't do it. It makes you look foolish. We don't find it funny or anything like that. Let me know in the chat. We do want to listen to what the community has to say about it. But I thought, hey, a good sense of humility, good sense of making fun of myself. It's always a good thing. So anyway, where are we? We're at Bulgaria. And we're doing a sun flight to Skiathos, which is an NDB approach as well. So we're hoping that there's going to be good visibility there and not clouds in our way, because we don't have any RLS to guide us in. We really got to do it by visual for the most part, apart from through the navigation. Sean says, amazing, I love it, always makes me smile. Willie, great, Sean, and great to hear that. And he says, the wife likes it too. Oh. Is she watching now? Dear, oh dear. Anyway, we're going to jump into this aircraft. We are doing a bit of a hard start today, guys, so hopefully you've got everything loaded and ready to go. Oops, sorry. And we'll jump in, and I can just take you briefly through the flight here. So put it into plan mode. Let me just crank up the brightness on that a little bit. It'll let me. Yes, so we are, go to Flightplan, we are taking off from Bulgaria. It's a pretty straight out departure. There's not really a lot to it. Basically, just jump up to altitude as soon as you're ready. And once we do that, we're going to fly across. Damn! Dan coming in with the £5 donation. Dan, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thanks, guys. You know, it really does help. It really makes a difference. It costs me approximately £25 a month to run the stream with all of the music and everything that we have in place right now. So yeah, it makes a huge difference, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we will dance. We shall dance at the end, and hopefully you can dance with me as I continue to make a fool of myself. So anyway, yeah, that's our departure to Ikura now. I'm going to clear that discontinuity, and we're going to carry on. As we go down, make our way down to Skiathos, and Skiathos is pretty much, I'll just back out a bit just to talk you through this. So you get to the last waypoint and it's pretty much direct to this NDB. Now once you get to the NDB, what we do is we get down to about 4,000 feet, I think. I can't remember what the constraint is on that. Yeah, 4,000. And then I've put in a custom waypoint here, which is a 10-mile DME from the VOR Sierra Kilo Papa at 203 degrees, and at that point what we're going to do is curve around, and then we're going to make our visual approach, which there is an NDB but there's no ILS, into Skiathos. And Dark, what are you doing? Dark, thanks so much, mate. Oh, you contribute so much to the stream already, mate. I'm absolutely blown away. Thanks, guys, everyone, and Dark, thank you so much for that. It really helps. See, I'm talking through this flight plan. I'm getting distracted in a really good way. It's a really good way, and it's taking my mind off the fact that I'm not feeling well, which is fantastic. So thank you so much for all this. Anyway, on the load, so I've got 150 passengers. They're all ready to go. They're probably getting a little bit antsy. We're pushing 6.5 tons of fuel. Now, the block fuel for this plan, I'm still not set up to share. I probably could share my, my OFP. If I can figure out what I did with it. Actually, Doc, I don't know. Do you have an OFP from simbrief you could share for the guys?
Yes, I have an OFP available.
Sorry, shut up!
I don't know how to link it in.
Hang on. Let me see if I can get there.
If you can get the file of it.
My briefing. There we go. Hang on. I'm just going to grab that. So I'll drop that into the chat right now. 2 secs. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's mine anyway. So I got 150 passengers, 6.5 ton. Now the block fuel for that was only actually. Actually, it says 6 ton there. It was 6.5, right? Okay. Positive rate, absolutely. Let's get going. So, my head's a little bit fuzzy, so I'm trying to think through this as best as I can. But let's get locked and loaded. We are taking off from runway 04. So if you guys are ready to taxi, feel free to start pushing back and get out there. Put this back into plan mode there. That's fine. Just some final checks here. So performance, I got our V speeds in. That's fine. Sling flaps 1. I think we're good to go. And yeah, got my fuel weight. So we got 6.5 tons on board. That's fine. Okay, trip wind I'm missing, so I'll try and get that in. Which is tail 12. E1, 2. There we go. I think it's just a straight pushback to taxi. So if I look at the airport chart here again, I do apologize I don't have simbrief up. Yeah, so we're pushing straight out facing the southwest to head for runway 4, which is down there. and then we'll line up. So I'll just take a quick look outside, see if anybody else is moving at the moment. Yeah, I can see guys are starting to line up. So I'm about to push back. So we'll call the truck. Oh, and we need an APU going here, I think, as well. So let's get that going. Seatbelts on. Oh, sim noises, that's what I'm missing. Our beacon on, and we'll get fuel
Flight
going
attendants,
here.
arm doors, and cross-check.
Just check quickly into the chat here. Oh, Dan says that music sounds familiar. What? Dark, you gotta explain that one to me.
I think he's on about it sounds familiar with it's like an 80s soundtrack.
Oh, right, okay.
Your safety is our top priority, so we appreciate your while we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft.
Okay, Ollie seems to be heading to the opposite runway, but that's alright. So I got Dark cruising behind me, so I'll give him a wide berth until he gets past. Actually, the way this is designed, I should, in theory, just be able to taxi around. That's weird. Looks like it was either YouTube maybe just dropped the connection for a second there. Obviously, you guys can still hear me, right? So.
Yeah.
I would blame that one on YouTube, actually, Dark. Okay. Don't think Ollie's gonna wait, that's fine. Ollie, you just go on ahead then. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see me?
Can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, but can you see me on the stream? That's the question.
I can see you on the stream.
Okay. Yep, you can hear me. Okay, great. Perfect. Right. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. Doesn't happen very often. I'm gonna blame YouTube for that one because I was still talking away to the guys. No problem. So everything's fine my end. Okay, we're gonna push. Parking brake is off, and let's go backwards, please. Put engine to start. Get our bleed on, of course. Off we go. I think I'm missing something. What am I missing? EP's running. Oh, no, that's not the bleed. There we go. I told you I was sick. I can only blame my illness. Dan says, always did find that Twitch seems to have less latency and slightly better reliability. Oh, that's good to know, Dan. It's good to know. To be fair, YouTube's been pretty kind to me. I've not really had a lot of issues, even when I know a lot of other streamers have. Yeah, it's just one of those strange things that happens every so often. So, hey ho, we're here, we're fine. And engine seems to be starting up as well, so that's good. So anyway, everybody following along the stream, hope your week's been well. Hope things are good with everyone at home, and let me know if anything interesting has happened. But I'll tell you what I'd like to know in the chat. Has anybody seen any interesting developments in Flight Simulator that they'd like us to talk about? Because I think there's been quite a few announcements recently. Dan says, as long as we see you, that's all I care about. Oh, Dan, you're gonna make me cry here. All right, let's. I think we can got room to swing around now. Ollie says, I saw something about an FPS view for walkarounds by FS Realistic. Dark Shark Kitty, do you have any comment on that one?
Haven't heard about it.
I haven't heard anything.
It sounds interesting. If what you could do, Ollie, if you can find a link to it, you can post it in the pub and Discord, and we'll get one of the guys to post it up in the chat for you.
Although that makes me think that I saw from reality that they are working on doing some MSFS add-ons now. It's a studio doing some upgrades for some plane on X-plane that are really nice with like advanced oil system, better FDMs.
Yeah.
And that actually includes the walkarounds and the maintenance system. And yeah, they're looking toward doing the same on MSFS. That could be interesting.
Could be, yeah. There seems to be there's a lot of people kind of getting into the game now, so. And that's the thing. I mean, you'd actually think that the amount of companies doing add-ons would reduce because the buzz has gone away, but it's actually increasing. I think there's more studios coming online now than there ever were, announcing new projects, which is fantastic. It just the momentum just continues to build and get more exciting month by month. So it's really cool. But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Dark.
Sorry. An interesting one would be Heavy Division coming out, saying that they're going to shortly be developing their own 787-9.
Now that is something to get excited about, I think. Especially if they're going to put it the same level of attention into it as Fly-by-Wire has done for the 320.
I actually think I heard something about they're wanting modelers and texture people, stuff like that, but they're also working with the Fly-by-Wire team as well.
Well, that's really encouraging. So potentially they could end up distributing through the Fly-by-Wire portal, the same as Synapse. So that, yeah, that's really exciting stuff. Really interesting, actually. Really exciting. Really good. I mean, I think we're getting spoiled for some of the freeware options that are coming out. I mean, just with the Inabuilds release for that Soba's putting out on their behalf, I think it's going to be really cool. Okay, so we're going to set flaps 1 there. And I am heading out to the runway right now, guys. Oh, he says he sent it in Discord. Okay, so there's a link in there. I don't know if Dark or Shark, if you got a chance, you could pop into the pub there and see what the link that Ollie's got. Drop it into the chat for us.
I see it. Let's see.
But please clear takeoff.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're like really working like in an FPS game.
Oh, okay.
And they're looking around the plane. They still have controls on it, I can see.
Yeah.
That looks interesting. They can even crouch to look at stuff.
Cool. Can we pop it into the
tell
chat?
us, Oli, is that something that's like just part of FS Realistic, or is it an extra add-on? I think that it's part of FS Realistic.
Okay.
And you know what? That actually might convince me, because
Okay, I'm just gonna get our lights on here. Strobe.
yes, honestly, having something you can use it generic, like some generic thing you can use to make your work around. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. Sounds like a really good idea, because workaround is always the phase when I look at my checklist. I'm like, okay, skip this. Can't really do much about it in the sim. But if you can make it interesting, then it's nice. Well, was talking about REP and the realistic packs that are coming. And on Explain, when you do your workaround, I definitely use this feature, look at the things. It just takes a few minutes. It's nice features, so
Pretty cool.
yeah,
Right.
honestly, seeing something like that sounds nice.
Right, I'm just lining up for takeoff.
Okay, follow you.
Look,
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to take off alone, but I'll try.
no worries. Holly says, honestly, I have no idea, but I'm definitely going to get it. Yeah, well, that's good. That's the excitement it's bringing, so that's cool. Okay, we are facing runway. Everything looks good. Takeoff check is happy. We'll start that chrono and take it up 50% power. Get the engine spooled up here. And it's complaining about something, but that's fine. We'll just go anyway.
Here's another interesting one that's just been released. Enviro 2020.
Alright.
So it's going to be similar to Rex
V1,
weather.
rotate. Positive rake, you're up. Autopilot 1.
That's great, you're up.
Off we go. You're right behind us, are you?
Yep.
Things falling. Oh yeah, can see you there.
Speed, please.
What's that speed? Flap 0. Oh, and leave the plane. All he says, that was a beautiful takeoff, departure even. Thank you. I don't know if I could take much credit. I think the airplane kind of flies itself. Right, now what was this talking about? TCAS thing. I don't know if I turned that on. Maybe I didn't. There we go. There it goes. Off it goes.
Speed, please. Really?
Sorry? Speed.
give me a
250. 250.
Thank you.
Up till 10,000 and then we'll be accelerating.
Okay.
In fact, we're just going to take it right up to our target altitude of 34,000 feet. Four thousand blue. And up we go.
Traffic.
Oh, traffic. There you go. I know that's working. TCAS is working because you're appearing on my.
Traffic.
Oh,
Traffic.
make sure you got resolutions up. I don't know if that's simulated, but that's never a happy thing.
I think you're making my airplane do things. Don't get too close yet.
Yeah, set your TCAS to TA and not TARA, please.
Yeah. There you go. I've never actually seen that work before. That's quite cool, actually.
Yeah, it's always been working on the I'm the AD2, so it's something I've learned to fear.
Climb. Climb now.
Dan says, HD moment incoming. Well, but I have no idea, Dan. Right, so what's... Alright, someone help me out. I don't... So obviously things have happened here, and I don't know if that's gone into manage speed. Plane should sort itself shortly. We can... There we go. Alright, back on track. Yes, well, HD moment incoming all the same, Dan, but then on the same token, we wouldn't be expecting a BAA Hawk to be flying formation with us.
I mean,
so
there's been some situations like that. Maybe not to the whole, but...
So Dan says, is auto TCAS enabled by default in Neo? I don't think so. Is that in terms of the airplane response?
So the way it works is if you look on your transponder, you got...
Yeah, no, I know where it's set. It's just we're not sure.
I'm explaining for the others.
If the airplane is actually meant to respond.
Because Dan was asking a question.
Okay, I'll let you answer the question. I'll shut up.
So you got 4 mods: standby, norm, and TA and TRA. And so if you're in norm mode, it's just the mod Charlie like in your typical GA. TA is gonna give you the traffic advisory warnings, and TRA is gonna give you the resolution. So that's when you're gonna have this climb or descent kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That are going to happen automatically.
Okay, fair enough. So I guess is there a way to disable the airplane from responding to that? That's the interesting one.
Yeah, just select TA or norm and then
just TA. Okay. So that's what I did.
And
actually,
it's not gonna
to be fair,
authority on it.
Yeah, so I did that, and to be fair, I now have a TA only information setting on my MFD there. So
should be fine. Maybe you'll get some warnings because of me, but then that's it.
I think that might be the end of it. I think once I switched it off or switched off RA, it seemed to calm down. So it was definitely the right action.
Yes, the TA won't cause you to get the resolution advisories on the FD.
Right.
I mean, you technically could have TARA enabled and just switch the settings to on, not auto, but then you still get the warnings and you have to manually continue the
Right, got you.
climb or thing.
Got you. Okay, while we're hanging about here, I'll try and get some homework done early. So, Sierra Kilo Papa, 4,000 feet is where we're going to be at some point in time. And we're going to be hitting that from 34,000. And well, that's about 94, so I think we'll probably put a radius around SKP for 100. Now, I think I already have a fix on SKP, possibly not. No, I don't. So we'll stick one in. And we'll say 100 miles, please. And if we back that out, that should give us our top of descent ring. There it is. And that's where we're going to start descending, so there you go. Okay. We'll leave that at 160 for now. And yeah, there we go, so that's good. I'm trying to think if I saw anything this week on Flightsim. I don't think there's been any new announcements. Kind of more things mentioned on things we already know about. Now, there is something I did do during the week, just for personal. Sorry, switch that to standard. Just personal flight. I tried the Salty Simulation 747, and I found that it generally worked right up until the approach. When I was coming in on the star, and then it seemed to, there's something weird happening, and the flight director seemed to start causing the speed to go crazy, even though there was constraints set in. Then if I turned it off, the constraints seemed to follow it. And then it just gave up completely and stopped following the course altogether. So it's possibly something I didn't understand about the 747, but it just seemed like it just wasn't doing anything I wanted it to do. So I ended up flying the rest of the flight manually, and then of course being used to the 320 and landing in the 747, I managed to slam it down about minus 600 feet per minute. So that wasn't too good. But there we go. So that was the adventure I have. So, but it seems to be improving. The last time I flew the Salty Simulations, it didn't seem to be doing much of anything, whereas this time it really seemed to be a bit more intelligent. So it was quite interesting. But I think, Dark, would you agree? I think until PMDG comes out with Queen in the Skies, that's when we're really going to see the 747 unleashed on Microsoft Flight Simulator.
In all fairness, I think it's going to be a real good toss between PMDG doing their 747-400 and Just Flight doing the 200.
Oh, it's Just Flight doing the 200. Ooh, that's a lot of homework, a lot of work to do. So that'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. I mean, you can imagine how much is involved with the BA 146. Imagine what's going to be on the 747-200.
If PMDG decide to keep the same kind of setup like they did for FSX, but upgrade the graphics and the systems to go with Microsoft Flightsim, technically the manual they did for FSX needs to be updated to the new system. They don't need to physically do a manual or anything like that. You just need to update it. It's just the main work on the actual model and aircraft system.
Yeah.
That's what they've been doing for their others.
I mean, they're coming out with their trip. I think it's the 777 next that PMDG is doing, but they're also on about releasing the 737-900.
737-900.
Yes.
Is anybody asking for that? I think
They just want to work in AFB.
Yeah, I know. I think the 800 for me is the definitive 737NG model. It's like the 320. I mean, I'm sure there's people who want a 321, and I'm sure there's people who want a 319, but ultimately 320 that's your bread and butter aircraft for that range, the same as the 737-800. Beyond that, I think you're looking into something new. I mean, I'd love to see at some point a 321 XLR, but that's completely, yes, it's based on the 320 family, but it's completely different range class. And it will have slightly different handling characteristics as well.
I don't know, I fly a 321 and beside the fact that it's bigger, I don't really see much difference.
Yeah, I mean, you are getting a bit more range.
Okay.
So we're gonna.
But for range, I mean, I got a 340.
Yeah, 340. Obviously, that's definitely a different aircraft. The 340, however, wasn't a particular. In the grand scheme of things, the 340 wasn't considered a particularly successful aircraft.
Yeah, it kind of came at the wrong time.
It did, yeah.
Around 2008 when there was a crash. You know,
Yeah, but you're saying the 340 is no good, but yet Lufthansa's bringing back the 340s.
I didn't say it wasn't any good. I definitely didn't say that. I just said it wasn't considered a success.
It was an economical failure for Airbus, which is just a fact.
Yeah,
it's still an amazing aircraft.
Yeah, I mean the 330 300 outsold it 3-1 or something like that.
What do you think to the 330-900 Neo that Virgin got delivered a few weeks back?
I'm not a 330 fan from a passenger standpoint, and I also find the airplane's a bit underpowered. So you're not going to get the speeds that you're going to see on like the 787 or even the 747 800 or even the 747 400. I mean, a lot of pilots that I've talked to also say that it really takes a long time to get up to cruising altitude. And actually, they're making similar complaints about the A350, strangely enough. So I don't know what's actually happening there in terms of that. I mean, don't get me wrong, A330 is a massive success. I mean, that is a stock airplane for a lot of airlines, and it's made them a lot of money. And it's got a great capacity too, because certainly the models I've been on, anywhere up to 360 passengers, that's nothing to scoff at. And you're definitely brushing against the lower range of lower capacity of, say, like 747. Or maybe an A380 that's not filled to capacity, etc. But so it is a brilliant airplane in terms of what it's done commercially. I think if I was to pick and say what do I think the big long haul airplane is right now, where everyone says hands down, yeah, that's been a solid performer, I'd probably go with the 777. Conventional, not the 777X. And I think to a lesser extent, 787 has been quite popular as well, certainly with the burn rate. But I think there's an opportunity on both sides. I mean, I think 350 is pretty much where Airbus has kind of sunk their pennies into. That's what they see going forward. It is a popular airplane. It's got an immense range, absolutely immense range. And I think that's even caught Boeing off guard a bit too. Although you are seeing some similar range with the 787, but it doesn't have the same capacity. That's the thing. So the 777X, which I think is the response, is something that can give you the capacity plus the range. But they're having terrible certification problems just in the States, just in America. So, I mean, you can only imagine if they can't even get it through certification in the United States right now. And no doubt the MAX problems have kind of weighed into this. What are they going to come up against when they try to get certified in Europe? Because Europe's actually more stringent, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't really know what's going to happen. I think both are actually looking at the mid-haul side. I think Airbus has absolutely nailed it with the 321 XLR. Boeing doesn't have anything that fits that category, and they potentially will lose market share because in the old days, both manufacturers were looking at hub and spoke. That's changing now. People want point-to-point. They want the range, but they don't want to fly to like a major airport to a major airport. They want to fly to a minor airport to a minor airport, but they still want to do that over 4,000 or 5,000 miles. So yeah, it's a completely different world now, and I think COVID's probably got a lot to do with it. I've packed a lot in that conversation, Dark. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Oh yes, I do. And the biggest one will be Australia and Qantas, because what they've done. So Qantas, as you know, has a fleet of 737, 700s, 200s, and has the Dreamliner and so at the minute, Qantas has put a massive order into this. So they're wanting at least 10 A350-1000s. They've got 94 aircraft which are switchable. They have ordered the A220-100s, A220-300s, they've got 321s.
Yeah, and I haven't even touched the A220. That's a different ballgame entirely.
So basically what they've said is over the next 4 to 5 years, there's about 140 odd aircraft plus refits that Airbus has to deliver to Qantas.
Wow.
So basically now Qantas is going from Boeing, which they thought, well, Qantas might go for the 777X, and they've gone to Airbus and said, right, if you can deliver this, we'll go to this, because we want, like you say, point to point. They don't want long hauls with the A380 when they can do one trip in the A350. It's more friendlier, and it's more better on the wallet, so to speak.
Well, this is it. I mean, and I think what you're seeing too is a lot of the routing, and I saw a lot of this in the A330, and I saw this with Air Transat from Canada. They don't fly to one destination, so and I'll kind of give a bit of an example of that. So often when I was flying to Edinburgh, Air Transat would fly the A330 first to either Manchester or, well, usually Manchester, drop off some passengers, pick up some passengers, fly to Edinburgh, drop the rest of us off that were going transatlantic, pick up some more passengers. Actually, I think they would get everyone off, clean the plane, then pull everyone back on, then go back to Toronto. So what they were doing is they were saying, well, rather than just go to this destination, how can we dogleg or add a couple legs in to make more economy out of flying that airplane? And it was a bit frustrating at times because you had that stopover sometimes, so extend your journey by about an hour. But it wasn't too bad. But it kept the prices low. It wasn't a huge deal because you weren't having to change aircraft. You were still on that airplane. And it was obviously very efficient for the airline. Now, the cool thing about the A220 in particular is there's airlines talking about routes where they fly direct from New York to London City, and then from London City to, say, Aberdeen. And then from Aberdeen, they can go direct to New York. I mean, that's there's not a lot of airplanes that can do that. Because of the nature of the size of the airport. So I think you're right. I think what's inhibiting the Airbus 380 in particular is the lack of agility for that to go to a wider selection of airports. And I think airlines now want that interchangeability, don't they?
Yeah, they do, but there's also a consequence of changing aircraft type and getting new aircraft. There's three categories of your airports. So you've got self-coordinated, coordinated, and a third category. So such like categories like Charles de Gaulle, Amsterdam, Heathrow are known as a separate category called super congested.
Yeah.
So what you have to think of is if they're changing aircraft type. So say they get rid of the Airbus and decide to put the A350 on, for example, that price of that slot is going to change, and that slot is not going to be able to just interchange between aircraft. You have to literally rebuy the spot at that airport.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. I suppose that's one of the reasons that the smaller, or why there's such a demand now for kind of the mid-size airplanes right now, is because you kind of get the best of both worlds. You can fly those economically on shorter routes, but also you can fly them longer, or you can do a combination based on what I was just describing earlier. So yeah, it's really hard to know where things are going. And then of course you have the type rating as well, because obviously you can't, if you have a fleet and you've got a mixture of Boeing and Airbus, it's not like you can just drop an Airbus pilot into a Boeing airplane on the Tuesday and then tell them to go back to an Airbus on the Wednesday. That doesn't really work like that.
I mean the A321, for example, they've done like they've done for Microsoft Flightsim. The model's good. It's not great, but it's good. But they've put the Adobe stuff in. I mean, the community has been that great and that fast. They've actually done a fly-by-wire model of the A321, which makes it somewhat decent. But it's like that, like you say, where the A321 has a certain landing distance, so you can't fly just anywhere with the A321. But
Yeah.
that's why mainly people are now flying the 737s or the Phoenix or fly-by-wire, depending on your budget.
Yeah. Well, Sean says, no more 737s for me. I love my 700. 777 is my next PMDG plane. I wonder if it'll be out for Christmas. No, I don't think so. But, yeah, I mean, and that's a good point. PMDG kind of confounds me a bit. But then I don't think they've really changed their strategy that much over the last decade anyway. They certainly lowered their prices considerably compared to what you were up against if you were looking at P3D or FSX. But, I mean, there will be the rare person that wants to go out and buy every single model they got. For me, I find that very difficult to justify, but I really want the 800 because that's the only one. That's the only model I particularly care about because that's what's relevant now, right? So if I look around, I see airlines like Jet2, I see airlines like Ryanair, I see, even looking back to Monarch and things like that. It was the 800s. It's the 800s that are flying now. It's the 800s that tend to be popular. WestJet, obviously, huge user of the 737-800 NG. The next step is probably the Max, and the interesting thing, Dark, about the Max is I'm seeing that being used transatlantic a lot now. Norwegian is one airline that's doing it, and so is WestJet. They're using the Maxes between Toronto and Edinburgh.
Well, interestingly enough, WestJet have purchased 4 737-800 Maxes and converted them to freighters. But like you say, they are using now the 900s, Max 9s, and Max 8s for transatlantic. The only consideration is if we ever did get a Max for the Flightsim, it will probably be by PMDG because they do the Boeing, more or less the Boeing stuff. And this is where you've got to call out.
But will
PMDG
it though?
Because
does PMDG have any interest in making the Max though?
Well, the main question is, are they going to listen to the customers? Because we've been asking for an EFB, we've been asking for this, and we've been asking for that, and then you get a big paragraph on their forum stating that the EFB needs work, or they're working on something else. And then you look at it and you think, well, that's kind of a similar ploy that Aerosoft done with the Twin Otter.
Yeah, I know. I think coming back to that point, what customers want. So I think PMDG's been burned on that before, where they changed their focus onto an airplane that they thought was going to sell and it didn't, and that was the MD-11. It was really, really well done, but it was also considerably, priced about the same as everything else because it cost a lot to develop it, and no one picked it up. Or at least not anywhere near to justify the amount of effort that they put into it. And that was despite all the massive customer demand saying, we want this, we want this, we want this. So if I were in PMDG's shoes, if we forget about what they've done with the strategy for the 737 and say, well, what are they going to do next? And everyone's saying, well, we want a 737 MAX. But I look back into what I've got my capability for. We've already put all this effort into converting, fair enough, mostly rebuilding an airplane that we've already done, but we know that airplane because we've already sunk the time in research and development to do that on another platform. So a lot of that carries through. Yes, you have to rebuild a lot of things, but you know a lot about it. If I was to go through that back catalog, I think PMDG would be mad not to do either the 777 or the 747-400. I think they'd be absolutely crazy not to do that next. 737 MAX, people want that, great, but that's a complete clean sheet development for them. They haven't done anything like that before, whereas they can just look at their back catalog. 747 Queen of the Skies is a huge seller for them, always has been. Why would they not bring that to Microsoft Flight Simulator? I think, sorry Sean, I think that will be their next release. And that's probably going to be announced before Christmas. It won't be for Christmas, but they will announce it before Christmas, and it'll be coming out in 2023.
Somebody should steal Captain Scam's 777 model and get it to BMDG.
But I would like to see, but then you have some of the other entrants like I'd like to see another studio, either a new or existing studio, look at something like the 757 or the 767, but in a real dedicated way, like not a halfway study, but something where they actually want to pack into it, because that's a huge gap. It's the 767 is still well used, and the 757 is well loved and used. I mean, Icelandair, obviously, they still fly them. They are kind of coming end of life, granted, but they're great airplanes, and they're a really good example of the best of Boeing. They're a better example than the 737, but they're a bit more heritage, a bit more classic and quirky than, say, the Max or the 777. And I really would like to see them come out, but I know, it all depends on who wants to throw their hat in the ring and who has the experience, because obviously, excuse me, to make a good product, you also need the backing of pilots who know the plane, who are going to help you out. But I think right now is probably the last opportunity that we're going to have for someone to develop a 757 or 767, because pretty soon those airplanes are going to be retired, and it's going to be very difficult to find pilots that can sit down and actually walk them through everything, because they're just not flying them anymore. That's why I think McDonnell Douglas 11, I can't remember who said they're going to do it, but oh, mind you, that's still well used as a freighter, isn't it?
Yeah, the fans are using it for the freighters, but I think they actually started to get rid of them.
Yeah, they are. They're not that efficient, unfortunately. I don't know what they're replacing them with. The rare thing about why the MD-11 I think was so popular freighters, that it had that center gear that you could use if you needed to. it's such a different, unique airplane. Okay, my top of descent's coming up, Shark Kitty, if you're wondering.
Thanks for the
I'm not quite there yet, but pretty soon.
thanks for the heads up.
No worries.
Tonight, on airline, Shark Kitty decided to blow Willy out of the sky.
Say again, Dark?
Tonight, on airline, Shark Kitty blows Willy out of the sky.
That's what. Look at
It's
that.
the good old days of airline.
It's like it's almost like there's a tether or a wire connecting the hawk to my plane. Shark Kitty, immensely amazing formation flying.
You know what? It's funny because Digital said the same when I did some formation on this stream, and
Yeah.
Murph said, I think it was something like, it's like I was some AI connected to his plane or something.
Right.
I forgot.
Ollie says
Yeah,
he's signed us in as well. So that, yeah, Ollie, I think you're just ahead of me, aren't you, Ollie? Yeah, I can see you.
Willy, you've got your engines on ignition.
Sorry?
Check your ecam.
What's it say? Oh, throttle idle. How'd that happen? Okay. Sorry, what am I looking for? Spell it out to me.
You've got your ignition switch onto ignition, not normal mode.
Oh, right. Where did you see that? There you go. Yes, I'm missing all sorts of things today.
And your destination date is ready to be entered.
Yeah, I see that. I was probably going to look at that imminently, actually. Approach phase. Right. Oh, I can hear Shark Kitty behind me as well. Should we do another Metar? I'm almost scared too, actually. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, it'll be nice to crawl in the bed tonight after this is all done. Thank you for the heads up, by the way, Dark. I do appreciate all the advice.
No worries. I'm just expecting someone now to join the stream and just fly by in a jet.
Yeah, that's it. Alright, let's take a look. So runway 01 was our gambit here. Oh, it looks like we've got no wind data again. QNH 1025, okay, 17 degrees anyway. Excuse me.
Oh, wind calm. Very nice.
What?
Right. 1025. Magwind, can someone run a METAR for me just to see if it's coming up somewhere else?
So METAR for Lima Golf Sierra Kilo 27 1820 Zulu.
Yeah.
Calm. 0000 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers.
That's what I've got.
1,800. 17 and 14 QNH 10.
So we just put in runway heading then, I guess. Alright. Okay, VREF. V approach 130. Sorry, I'm going to start coughing my lungs out for a second. Oh dear, oh dear. Ollie says, Willy, why don't you set your sim time tonight and we can have a real test? Yeah. Yeah, test into the water, straight into the water. Sean says, sorry, on another screen for a weekly shop tomorrow. Wife's, who has them, sorry, no worries.
If we find like the right area for that, it would be nice to do an actual night stream sometime.
Yeah, that would be good actually.
Can look pretty if you were around.
Like it would actually make a nice GA flight, as long as we picked our airports carefully.
Oh,
and
that's hard.
Not really. If you do it based on an IFR route, so if you look at NDBs and VORs, do it over kind of urban areas and just use airports that are well lit.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like doing it VFR very low, like we always do.
No. Just a nice. It's almost like an after-hours GA night flight or something like that. But we'll do it in twins, I think.
I was about to suggest that.
Yeah.
That would be perfect for twins.
Ollie says definitely not mountains at night. No.
Mountains at night. There.
There are airplanes that can do that, but they have a bit more equipment than most commercial products. So, specifically FLIR, forward-looking infrared, which we don't have. So, although I think some airliners do have forward-looking infrared. 737s don't have that. I can't remember.
737s have the hood, don't they?
Yeah, I think they do. Which has forward-looking infrared, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of because it was originally military technology for that, which was exactly for that. It was so ground attack aircraft could fly through terrain at night without crashing into things.
Why does St. Martin's come into mind when you say night landings?
Night landings? I don't know. I wouldn't want to attempt that one. I'll tell you what might be fun. Would be either like the Spanish Islands or the Greek Islands or I'm just trying to think of an area where there's lots of light. I don't know, maybe get some suggestions from the community, guys. Reach out to everybody on the community. I mean, where would you want to fly at night in a general aviation twin? Where basically you want to be able to see the runways fairly well. We don't want to make it too difficult. And we want to be able to rely on things like VOR and NDB beacons. So any ideas we're welcome to.
Sean says we should fly the Typhoon in the valleys with low cloud at night using the FLIR.
Oh, does that have FLIR? Does it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have that model yet. It does look interesting though. Yeah, that would be fun. Until I crash. Ollie says maybe a nice flight would be from Tenerife to Lanzarote or to Morocco and Spain. Yeah, I think that would be actually, Ollie. I would really like that.
Oh, Morocco's nice.
Well, anything on the North African coast, there's probably a lot of things we could pick and choose from there.
What about Morocco? Morocco is quite a good place.
I've never flown there in the sim, and I've never been there in real life, so I'd be interested to see what that's like.
Oh, Casablanca.
Casablanca. Is that, frankly, my darling, I don't give a damn? Oh no, that was Gone with the Wind, wasn't it? Okay. Let's just do some checks here. So, yeah, I think we're doing okay. 17,000 feet. We can tell everyone to get back on their seats. Don't know what the transition altitude is here, unfortunately. It's like 6,000, isn't it?
4,000.
4,000. Okay.
Already pressed B to use to fly in the US. It's okay.
Alright, just get that Q&H set right before when we get close enough. Ollie says Bratislava has probably 10 flights a day despite being Slovakia's main airport. Oh, really? It seems quite low. Is there a more popular airport in the Slovakia's than Calamity Airlines says, good evening. Hi, Calamity. And Jayhawk's coming. He says, flight again, Sam. Jayhawk, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. I missed you earlier. Just looking up the chat now. Good evening, guys. Just got back from dropping wife off. Oh, that was you. To see Meatloaf. A Meatloaf show where I drove home like a bat out of hell. Right, got you. I thought she was going to see The Commitments, or is that somebody else? Sean says Philippines. Yeah, maybe. Again, not a part of the... I've actually flown over the Philippines, but I was quite high at the time. It was probably 38,000 feet. Cathay Pacific.
Well, interestingly enough, Sean's idea is not a bad one. We could do the Philippines, but it could be weather, because that would be an interesting landing to do in the GA.
Yeah, and actually, it's not something you see often on streamer Twitch or YouTuber Twitch anyway. No one really goes there. So I mean, from there we could probably look at places like Cambodia. We could look at Vietnam. I think Vietnam could be quite fascinating. And obviously there's a lot of history with the Ho Chi Minh Trail and all that. Not necessarily focusing on the war, but yeah, some fantastic terrain around there as well, I think. Interesting coastlines and great airports. And Ollie says there's one in Kosice, did I pronounce that right? Which is on the other side of the country. Oh, okay. But from Bratislava, you could go do a GA flight and go to Vienna or Budapest within an hour. Oh, that might be interesting. Yeah. Ollie, like that idea. We'll have to capture all these out. Guys, do go into the Discord and post these suggestions into positive rate discussion or flight plans. Jayhawk says she did that one. That was Saturday night she went to the Commitments, and now she's gone and seen Meatloaf. Bloody heck. She's got a social life, mate. What do you do with yourself? You think she's trying to tell you something, Jayhawk? Anyway. Right, coming up to our deceleration point at 10,000 feet, so we'll get those lights on. Just let the crew start packing things up. Still see Shark Kitty behind me. There we go. Oh, a little flutter there. Okay, here's where things get interesting. So we need to get ourselves slowed down by the time we get some. Hopefully I'm going to platform. We got a constraint on for 4,000 feet at Sierra Kilo Papa, which I'm hoping to hit long before we get to the VOR. We got plenty of time to get there, so we'll just keep it at 250 for the time being. And Beluga just dropped in. And Beluga, how you doing, mate? He says, currently away from home and flying back this Saturday. Fantastic. How you been? How you been? Great to see you. Thanks for dropping by. And J-Hog says, I hope so. After 42 years, I could do with a trade-in. Any comments on that, Dark Fury?
I'm not touching that one.
I'm not touching it. Oh, you heard it here first. J-Hog says, did you read in Discord? I sorted out the throttles, Dark Fury.
No, I must have misread that.
Oh, I can see mountains. Or islands, anyway. We are getting close. So I think the runway will be up here somewhere. There's quite a lot of traffic around here, actually. I'm going to have to cough my lungs out again in just a moment. Oh dear, oh dear. No, wait here until he sees her and then tell her. Yeah. Okay, right. Looks like we're still on track. Don't want to get a false sense of confidence. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that to manual now. Actually, we'll see if the airplane flies the constraints. I'm actually a bit curious about that. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. Now I've got it set at 1600, which is our final platform altitude, but if you look at the constraints, we've got a 4,000 constraint and a 2,000 constraint at our custom waypoint, which is DME 10, 203 degrees from Sierra Kilo Papa. So in theory it should fly that first before it lets us drop down. But again, we'll keep an eye on it. We can take over manually if we need to in an emergency. So we are going flaps 3 configuration. I haven't really changed that. I don't see any need to. So I'll put that on. Oh no, I have... No, it was on flaps 4, I beg your pardon, so we'll leave that off actually. But we'll just double check that. Confirm approach phase. Yeah, it is in full. Put something in the barrel, just have something there. Okay, and I can see the airplane is now starting to pull us down for that first constraint, so.
Watch out, mate. Love the views.
Yeah, I haven't looked up to take a breath. Look at that. It's amazing that people live out here, really, because you think, you know, before airplanes, it was not an easy place to get to. Obviously, it's a bit more convenient now. Okay, I'm gonna pull it out one stage of flaps just to help the airplane out a bit here. Why am I not thinking about it? I don't want to slow down yet. Keep it at 210. So I want to make sure we hit that 4,000 there. Going back to chat. Jayhawk says, looks like you have the same cold as me. Yeah, it's most certainly man flu, Jayhawk. It's not a cold. And Ollie says, good luck with your landings. Thank you, Ollie. Good luck with yours. Luckily, it looks like it's a nice clear day. Great time to take in some sightseeing. And Ollie, it looks like you're sitting at the top of a mountain. Is there any reason I'm looking at that? Or no, it's just because you're ahead of me. It was just an illusion, depth perception illusion there. I'm actually over. It looks like I'm going to overtake you, Ollie. Oh, and we are on stairs, so let's get that into QNH. Perfect. And we'll see if we can land this thing. But before we do that, let's just have a quick look out the window. Look at that. So they always say pilots have the best view of the plane. But I don't think that's necessarily true when you get closer to the ground, because the pilots have to concentrate on what's going on. They don't necessarily have time to look out the window. But they certainly see some great sunsets. I'll give them that. Ollie says not very good visibility at nighttime. No, it wouldn't be. I think you'd really... it's doable. If you fly by the numbers, it's absolutely doable, but you really do have to have your wits about you. Now, having said that, this airplane actually has an NDB at the airport, so that probably makes it a little bit easier, but I have talked to pilots where they've landed at airports where the NDB just doesn't work. There's a NOTAM that just says it's offline. So it's really, you just hope that the airplane has put you in the right place of the globe, and then at that point it's your eyes and ears. Sean says, oh, you're down, minus 137, nice, well done. Out of the way, parked at the left side. We shall see you there, Sean. So, is that the mainland off in the distance then, Dark? I'm kind of ignorant to this area, I must admit. Is that Greece off the distance? Yeah. And Ollie says, yeah, luckily no clouds, so the runway is very visible. Excellent. Excellent.
2,500.
Okay, we are coming up to our custom waypoint where we're going to start swinging around and heading towards Skiathos. So I have set a constraint for 180, so I'll do that now, actually. See if Shark Kitty's still pacing. She is. Wow. Any closer, you're going to have to give me a wedding ring there, Shark Kitty.
So you're slowing down, right?
Yes, I'm slowing to 180.
Alright, getting 1 notch on flaps.
I'm just about to come into my final turn. So it will be a left-hand, or sorry, a right-hand base turn into Skiathos, starting right now. Look at that, beautiful. Ollie says there's a very real chance I'll stall out into the ocean. No, Ollie, you're too good for that. Come on, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Yeah, it's just coming around now. And we'll take that down to about 160. The airplane's dropping nicely to the constraints. Quite happy with that. We're going to platform out about 1600, and then we're just waiting for our final drop point, which is that ring right there, which is a DME 4.8 miles from, well, it's actually 5 miles from Skiathos, and that'll be your 3 degree point in, so we'll see how that goes. We'll drop a bit more flaps there. And we can probably drop our gear as well. A lot of damage. Please prepare for landing. Final checks. Thrust is on. Flaps are coming in. Stage of flaps there. Flaps we are supposed to be configured for flaps full, so I'll wait until we drop to our final approach speed. Haven't checked, but that's fine. On the way down, guys. Don't want to clear that one. I'm sure I'm missing something so simple. And we'll take it to our approach. And take it all the way down. What's the airport elevation, anybody?
Too busy.
Too busy.
54 feet.
Okay. Thank you, Dark. Appreciate it. Oh, I see the airport. We got visual.
1,000.
Right. Let's get ready. I think I'll go manual from here, actually.
Yeah, let's visual on you.
This was looking a little bit low. A little lower than I'd like to be.
I see the field.
500. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Shadow, but I don't see you.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Wait.
Too low. Terrain.
Ah, there you are.
Too low. Terrain.
It's alright, it's right
Too
back
low.
back.
Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Oh, I
Too
thought I
low.
turned that
Terrain.
off. It's not going
Too
off.
low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low.
Oh,
Terrain.
flaps.
Too low. Terrain.
That's why. That's what it's barking at. I didn't have flaps for it. Right, now we're all distracted here. Now I'm going to try and save it. Not what I was intending to do.
I think that's too late, Willy.
Eh?
I think that's a bit too late.
Yeah, it's not looking great, but I think
500.
okay, actually. We're actually, the speed's not too bad.
300. 100 above. Minimum. 100.
On the center line.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Oh, bounce.
Dan says, sorry, I had to shoot off and lock up. No worries, Dan. Yeah, I got a bit of a fluster at the last minute there because I didn't realize that I hadn't put full flaps on, so I was trying to figure out why my train was complaining at me, which rightfully so it should have been. And by rights, I probably should have gone around, but my speed was good. I felt like I was recoverable. I didn't really have much to worry about in terms of wind or anything like that, so I thought, yeah, I can probably get this down. And I dare say it was probably a decent landing, actually. So there you go. Don't try this at home, folks. I am not an expert. I only play a pilot on YouTube, not in real life. I'll probably look back. And I am sick today, so I'm missing things left and right. Dark's helped me out a couple times. You guys in the chat have helped me out. Helped me with a few things I missed today, so thank you very much. Not sure who it is ahead of me. Is that Ollie? Is that you? Just wait, no. Just following you back to the airport, mate. Now, this scenery is really cool. This is actually, not sure it's available for Just Flight, but it's definitely available from Orbx. But this is Skiathos. It looks really cool, actually. Find a place to park, get that VP switched on. And is there any room for me at the end? That's the question. Looks like a gate. That looks like a fire depot. I don't know where to park. Dan says, I left the stream while I was out, and literally all I could heard when I came back was terrain, terrain. And it's like, oh, for FFS, here we go. Yeah, no, it was okay. It was something simple, actually. That was alright. Alright, I'm gonna have to park.
Well, it looks on my stream like Shark and Shaw's parked in the woods.
Yeah, that's... I couldn't quite see what gates those were. But I'll just go through this one here anyway. That's good. I'll do. Perfect, okay. Turn everything off here. Oop. Oh, didn't turn the strobes off. Okay. Vision 1 and 2 off. What else do I want to do? Oh, my head just feels like a watermelon. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Great flight. Really good flight. And thank you everybody for coming in and joining us today. It was really good fun. Yeah, okay, so what I'm looking at doesn't look like a gate, but I think that might be the default scenery where Sean is. Shark Kitty's coming in beside me. But yeah, this is Skiathos. Beautiful. Major sun destination, obviously, so I can take some pretty decent sized airplanes, I think. I think, Dark, am I right? This can take up to an Airbus 330. Lost Dark, you may be distracted by children. But yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can probably get a 330 there. Doesn't mean that it's going to be able to land or take a back spot.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of space to make mistakes. And yeah, it's the detail on top of the building. So you can see all the air conditioning units there. The control tower looks really neat. Don't know if this is modeled inside, but we'll have a quick look. No, I would say no. Although, we do have some people out there standing waiting on a bus. There we go. That's interesting. Okay. There you go. Very cool. So, yes, big thank you to everybody that joined us on on chat today. Great to see you. It's always nice to be back in our Thursday slot too, because we tend to see everybody again. We've had to chop and change a bit with Saturdays, unfortunately, just due to work commitments. But I'm hoping that that's going to come to an end. So actually, we should be more regularly on Thursdays now, which will put Nick's mind at ease. Bless him. I think he's working tonight, but he's been very accommodating of some of the schedule changes, and we'll try to get more into the schedule on YouTube as well, so you can see what's coming up, so you don't have to wait till last minute to find out if we're on or not. Mason Lieber has just dropped in. Hello, you just came right in the end, Lieber. But live on my birthday. All right, good to talk to you. Happy birthday to you, Lieber. Very happy birthday to you. Anyway, I think that's probably enough for one night, guys. And thank you so much for coming along with me today, Dark. Always great to fly with you, mate.
Always a pleasure.
And Shark Kitty, some amazing formation flying yet again. Thank you for keeping me safe and keeping me under control.
Always a pleasure as well.
A huge thank you to once again. Oh, dancing! I've got tips. Big thank you to Dark Fury, Dan, and Shondale all chipping in tonight with some tips. And of course, there's only one thing for that, unfortunately. For my sins. If I can find something, hang on. This is for you guys. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, not quite as effective with the green screen, but I couldn't get that on tonight. It's just a bit, I'm feeling hot and cold and having hot flashes, so I don't know if I've got man flu or possibly I'm premenstrual.
What you say, damn, is it just me or is it getting hot in here?
Indeed. Dan says go rest now. Thank you very much, mate. No, I appreciate it. It always good if it makes you laugh. That's the whole point of it, and it's a big show of appreciation for you guys who chip in week after week and help us keep the costs down, because it does cost money, unfortunately, to run the stream to the quality that we want to run it to. I think we could do it cheaper, but I don't want to. We want to give you good entertainment. We got some big news coming up, guys. It's been a long haul, and I can't say anything yet until the pen is dry, but we are very close, and we're going to have some big surprises for you, and there's going to be some genuine rewards coming your way. So do keep an eye on the Discord community for big announcements, hopefully that we can announce soon. Can't say anything just yet. It is related to my initial announcement of potentially partnering with Orbx. Seems to be going in the right direction. We're just waiting to get things finalized with them. But yes, we could have a special surprise for you guys for Christmas, and it will be something really special, I promise. So yeah, apart from that, have a great night. Dark Fury, have a great night yourself, and great flying with you again.
Yes, have a great night all, and make sure you get over that man flu.
Yes, thank you. And you too, J-Hog. And Shark Kitty, always great to fly with you again. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Always good to fly with you guys, and well, have a good night, everybody, and see you next time.
Thank you. And Dan says much love to you all. Love to you, Dan, as well. Thank you once again for the donations, and a big thank you to Shondale and Dark Fury, who have helped out tonight. So With all that being said, we shall bring that music down, and I will bid you farewell, and we'll see you next Thursday right here on Positive Rate. Oh my God, which is all about respect, learning, and friendship. I'm Willy Canuck signing off. Take care, folks.